Hey, welcome everyone to Disha Learning and yet another session in management. We are looking at understanding management and we are looking at different concepts in management. Today we are going to specifically look at strategy. What is strategy? How do you create strategy? What are the different components of strategy, etc. So we'll jump right in. Before we jump in, it is important to understand that the concept of strategy did not come recently because of the corporate kind of world. It had come much earlier when you used to have kingdoms and you had kingdoms fighting with each other. You had battles going on, so you needed to have a battle plan. How do you plan to win the battle and the entire war? All right. So when you think of an example of Troy and its battle, the Trojan horse, and if you remember the story, all right. So they had a different plan for winning the war. Now Napoleon had a plan. Alexander had a long-term plan on what he's going to achieve in his lifetime, and he pretty much did what he could. At that time, he conquered most of the known world at that time. So Genghis Khan. So all of them have some kind of strategy in mind. Now, strategy is nothing but an overall plan and direction in which individuals and organizations move. It provides a framework for all actions that come to, whether it is operations, whether it is marketing, finance, all of these other functions adhere to and align to this overall strategy. So this is a very key concept and foundational for your management studies. We're going to look at what is strategy, the process of strategy creation, which includes mission, vision, objectives, goals, PESTLE. If you don't already know what PESTLE is, we'll talk about that, and we'll look at SWOT. In the other videos, subsequent videos that you'll find online, you will find the other tools such as Porter's 5 forces, Ansoff metrics, BCG metrics, all explained to you in simple words so that you can apply it right away. Now, what is strategy? You already know strategy because you've been exposed to the idea. You use that word constantly. When you play chess, you have a strategy, right? You have a strategy in your life. You have a strategy for your work, for achieving your goals. So what is strategy in terms of management and in terms of organizational context? Now here, strategy is the direction and scope of an organization over the long term. Now the keywords are highlighted here for that extra emphasis. Now, one, strategy includes is direction. Where are we going? In which direction are we going? Second is the scope. What all do we encompass? What kind of activities? What kind of businesses? What kind of resources? And over what duration? So the duration is always long term. Minimum is 5 years. So strategy is made for maybe a 5-year or for 10 years. Countries also have plans like 5-year plans, 10-year plans, etc. So all the subsequent activities that are there come under this overall framework. Now, when you create strategy, some things that you have to understand is that strategy does not ensure success. Strategy is not a way to dominate the environment. And strategy is certainly something that should not be kept rigid. It should be free-flowing, moving. You have to evolve your strategy. Yes. So what does a strategy do? It helps you achieve advantage for the organization through its alignment of resources within a challenging environment. So it helps you achieve an advantage. It helps you put together your resources in such a way that you can give the punch, deliver the punch where it really matters. And all these things happen within the context of an environment. If the environment changes, you have to change your strategy. And why do we need to have a strategy? We need to have a strategy to meet the needs of the market and to fulfill stakeholder expectations. So The strategy has to meet the needs of the market because they have to like it. It has to fulfill their expectations as well as the stakeholder expectations, people who are involved with the organization and their expectations, which would include the board of directors, the CEO, the employees, even external stakeholders. It should fulfill all their expectations. Now, an example for this is Southwest Airlines. I don't know if you have heard about Southwest Airlines, but Southwest Airlines was one of the low-cost carriers, and it was one of the pioneers in bringing in the strategy of low cost. So they had an entirely different approach. Their aim was to keep their costs low and keep their planes flying as much as they could instead of having them parked on the ground, because according to them the airplane is their asset and the asset has to keep on making them money. So they used to have a specific strategy where they focused on lowering the cost, increasing the rate or the speed at which they are able to get the plane back in the air, and reducing all the frills within the aircraft in terms of extra drinks and snacks, and customers get nothing. But they had another strategy, another aspect where they looked at building up a very motivated workforce, and that helped them a lot. So we are going to look at all these aspects in terms of culture, operations. We're going to look at different strategies that help you get a competitive advantage. So all in our subsequent courses, if you click on our channel, you'll find links and videos that will help you understand the various tools, techniques, etc. So strategy is the direction and scope of an organization over the long term to achieve advantage, using resources within a challenging environment in order to meet the needs of the market and fulfill stakeholder expectations. So a good way to understand strategy, I find, is that to think of a ship. Now, the ship is not made to be anchored in a harbor. No, it is made to journey over the oceans. It is made to carry people from one place to another. It is made to make trade happen. So a ship's job is to be in a journey. Now, journey always includes a starting point and an ending point, or a destination. A journey always has a destination there, right? So similarly, a strategy has to have the end objective there. Where are we going to go, and identifying what we need to become or achieve over the long term is again strategy. If you take Zappos, for example, Zappos is an online retailer for shoes, which was recently acquired by Amazon. Now, Zappos' strategy was to become the best, the most sought out online retailer over the course of, say, X years. And they managed to do that by providing exceptional customer service. So they had all their actions, all their activities were towards how do we give the customers such excellent experience that they keep coming back to us again and again and again. So one of the areas they looked at was having motivated staff, people who enjoyed what they do, ensuring that they have freedom, autonomy, responsibilities, etc., and building up a wonderful organization culture. And they were able to do such a great job that Amazon noticed them and acquired them, and allowed them to have an independent kind of structure and culture than Amazon. So that is quite an achievement. So for an organization, very much like a ship, it needs to have a starting point, which is usually where they are right now, and an ending point where they would like to be, what they would like to become, what they would like to achieve. Now, if I am at Dubai and I have to go to Singapore, there might be multiple routes available to me. But then, which route would get me there faster, or maybe at the lowest cost, or safely? All these are decisions that are made by the key stakeholders, mostly the board of directors, people who are invested in that, and the CEO. The CEO is pretty much like a captain of the ship. And the overall decisions, direction, scope, usage of resources, etc., are decided by the CEO in consultation with his team as well as the board of directors. So the ship, should we go to Singapore? Which kind of route do we take? What are the different dangers that lurk there? How can we overcome that? How do we prepare for this? What kind of people do I hire? So all this is set by a strategy which is formulated by the people at the top. The strategy sets a framework for all the subsequent decisions that have to be made here. Now, if you take a ship from Dubai to Singapore, you might have 5 routes, but then there is no way in which you can be very certain that, there will be no icebergs, or there are no pirates, or there will be no storms in a specific route. So having a strategy does not mean that you have an assurance of success. No, strategy has to be flexible. As the environment changes, strategy changes. So environment has a great role to play on your strategy formulation. So let's look at an example of how strategy is created. Let's meet Mike. So say hi to Mike. So Mike has an MBA. He's an outdoor person. You can see how he's dressed. He's a nature lover. He loves exploring places, and one problem that he has is that he cannot sit behind a desk. Now, he has traveled to many places. He has seen things, done stuff that nobody else could ever do or has ever done in their lifetime. He knows certain places, people. He has lived among tribals. So he knows a lot of things. Now, for Mike to continue his life in this manner, needs to have income. Now, how does he get an income? So this is a problem that Mike faces. So Mike decides that he cannot do a 9-to-5 job because that will not help him get an income, nor does he enjoy doing that. He does not want income in that manner. So he wants to do something that he enjoys and get an income through that. So he decides that he will start his own business. So he gets and registers a company, Mike's Travel Incorporated, and it has become an entity now. So you have an organization now with one person in it. All right. So now what? So Mike does not know now what he is to do. So a few things that Mike has to ask is that, what is the purpose of my business? Who are my customers? What would I like to achieve in the short term? And what would I like to achieve in the long term? So the purpose of the business is basically the mission of the business. And the customers he's going to look at maybe working professionals. The purpose of his business would be to provide extraordinary adventure experiences to his customers. He would like to, in the short term, just survive, earn money. And in the long term, maybe he'd like to grow to a huge company with offices all around the globe, etc. So for Mike to come out with a strategy, he needs to look at different aspects in the environment right now. He needs to look at the political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, legal, and environmental factors that surround his business. So wherever he is, if he is in the United States or Europe or Asia or somewhere in the Middle East, he needs to look at the specific PESL or political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, legal, and environmental factors that are going to affect his business. So some of the aspects, if you look at economic factors, you're going to look at Europe. So you look at the Brexit, you look at issues that European countries face, its citizens, the trouble they're going through, maybe some recession which is still going on. Then you have socio-cultural aspects, technology, legal, environmental, etc. So the purpose of your business is a mission. Customers are your target market. Objectives are short-term goals. And your long-term, what you would like to become, is a vision. All right. So Mike says that my mission is to provide fun-filled travel experiences to business professionals, and he'd like to earn around 200,000 AED, that is dirhams, in the next 6 months. He needs to build a worldwide organization with top quality travel options. So now he does a SWOT. So we'll go to the SWOT. SWOT is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and we are going to continue with the SWOT in the part 2 of this section. So you can catch me in the next section, which is part 2. We'll look at SWOT specifically. It will be named SWOT. Thank you, guys.